In my last video, I have explained about Morse method and as well as Waller's method and modified Waller's method. In this video, I am going to explain about the Fazan's method in the precipitation titration. Let's say the concept of Fazan's method. Okay, this method is based on the using of adsorbed indicators. Here, Fazan's method is based on the using of adsorbed indicators. Endpoint is detected by using the indicators, means these indicators having adsorbing property. Adsorb nothing but they are attached to the surface. Okay, they means they are binding to the surface or attached to the surface is known as adsorbing. Then these adsorbed indicators are adsorbed on the surface of AgCl precipitate. This adsorption accompanied by color change at endpoint. Here where these indicators are adsorbed? Here these indicators are adsorbed on the surface of AgCl. In this Fazan's method, AgCl precipitate, silver chloride precipitate will form. To this silver chloride precipitate, the indicators are adsorbed and onto the surface of AgCl precipitate, these indicators are adsorbed. This adsorption accompanied by the color change. Whenever these indicators are adsorbed onto the surface of AgCl precipitate, it leads to color change. That is known as endpoint. Then adsorbed indicators are known as dyes, which are two types. Acidic dyes and basic dyes. Acidic dyes example eosin dichlorofluorescent. Basic dyes example rhodamine series. Here this eosin is mainly useful for estimation of bromide ion and iodide ion. Whenever we are going to estimate bromide and iodine, we will use indicator that is eosin. Dichlorofluorescent is mainly useful for estimation of chloride ions. As the name itself indicates, chloro is there. So mainly useful for estimation of chloride ions. This is the brief description of Fazan's method. Here I given the list of adsorbed indicators and their color change. You can see here, first one eosin, color change is pink to reddish violet, and second one dichlorofluorescent, yellowish green to pink color, and rose bengal, red to purple color. Here these are the adsorbed indicators and their respective color change. This is a brief description of Fazan's method. Let's see the principle involved in the Fazan's method. Okay, before that you just see here, you consider this is the butane. Butane is filled with silver nitrate solution. Then in the conical class we have taken that is sample, that is NaCl sample. To this NaCl sample we need to have adsorbed indicators and dextrin. Along with the indicator dextrin we have to add. What is the importance of dextrin here? I will explain later. Let's see. Here whenever the sample is titrating with AgNO3, means it involves titration of sodium chloride with silver nitrate solution using adsorbed indicators, and what will happen? Silver chloride precipitate will be formed. You can see the reaction. AgNO3 is reacting with sodium chloride sample. Here this Ag and Cl combine with each other, AgCl precipitate will form along with sodium nitrate. Silver chloride white precipitate will produce. Here, what is the importance to this sample? We are adding dextrin. What is the importance of dextrin? Dextrin added to the sample solution to prevent coagulation of colloidal AgCl precipitate. Here, whatever the AgCl forming, it undergoing coagulation. For preventing of the coagulation of this precipitate, we need to add dextrin. Then, here, what is the concept? You can see in this titration. Initially, chloride ions are excess. In this titration, initially chloride ions are excess. Okay, then chloride ions are excess in solution. Hence, negatively charged chloride ions are adsorbed on the surface of silver chloride precipitate. This will form primary adsorbable layer. Whatever the ions are excess, okay, that will form primary adsorbable layer. Here you can see. Here this is the AgCl precipitate. Okay, initially means initial starting of titration, which ions are high in the solution? Chloride ions are high. So these negatively charged chloride ions are adsorbed onto the surface of silver chloride. Then it forms primary adsorbable layer. Here the negatively charged chloride ions are attracting or promoting the secondary absorption of sodium ions. These negatively charged chloride ions promoting the secondary absorption of sodium ions, which is having positive charge. So, see sodium ions are forming secondary adsorbable layer. Here you can see the negative charge chloride ions promote the secondary absorption. The negative charge chloride ions promoting the secondary absorption of positively charged sodium ions, and it forms secondary absorption layer on HCl precipitate. We know that negative charge will attract the positive charge only. So likewise, initially chloride ions are excess, so it forms primary adsorptive layer, and then sodium positive charge ions in the solution, that is sodium ions. These ions are excess, it will form secondary adsorptive layer. This will occur at initial stage of titration. You keep in mind, that is initial stage of titration. Then at the end point, silver ions are excess. Silver ions are excess in solution. Hence, it forms primarily adsorptive layer. Here you can see, here at the end point, what will happen? Silver ions are excess. Okay, I have to write, and okay, silver ions are excess. Silver ions are excess. Okay, that's why it forms primary adsorptive layer. Primary adsorptive layer at end point. Okay, because these silver ions are excess in the solution. Then what will happen? If solution consists dichlorofluorescein as an indicator, the negative charge fluorescein compete with nitrate ions for the formation of secondary adsorptive layer. Okay, if you see in the reaction, there is a Ag plus, Cl minus, Na plus, NO3 minus. At the end point, which ions are forming primary adsorptive layer? Silver ions are forming adsorptive layer. Here, for the secondary absorption, here negative charge ions are NO3, and as well as the negative charge indicator. What is the indicator? Fluorescent indicator is there. Here it is also having negative charge. There is a competition between these two. Okay, for formation of secondary adsorption of AgCl precipitate, there is a competition between nitrate ions and fluorescent. These two having negative charge. Finally, fluorescent forms secondary adsorption layer. Then, so fluorescent forms secondary adsorption layer. Means indicator is adsorbing. So the combination of this Ag plus and fluorescent negative charge, it gives color change. It gives which color? Pink color. That you keep in mind. Okay, you can see the combination of silver ions and fluorescent ions. Fluorescent ions on HCl precipitate will produce pink color at end point, because the fluorescent dichlorofluorescent indicator which will give pink color at the end point. This pink color is due to absorption. This pink color is due to absorption of fluorescent on HCl precipitate. Okay, this is the main concept of Parsons method. Okay, then what are the applications of Parsons method? It is useful for estimation of sodium chloride, potassium chloride infusions. And second application, it is useful for estimation of benzyl trimethyl ammonium. And third application, it is useful for estimation of chloral hydrate. Second application is benzyl trimethyl ammonium chloride. And third application is useful for estimation of chloral hydrate. And fourth application, it is useful for estimation of thiamine hydrochloride. By using Parsons method, we can done estimation of all these compounds. This is the overview of Parsons method. If you like the video, please subscribe to my channel and please share to your friends. Thank you very much.